Hey, Bonavista Baptist kids and friends checking in for this kids' time. It's Kira, Pastor Scott, and of course our good buddy Steve the Plant. Kira, it's hard to believe that this is the last time that we are filming together for these episodes. We're coming to the end of Luke's Gospel, and next week we're going to be starting an exciting new kids series for the summertime. But Kira, what's been one of your favorite memories as we look back on our time filming together?
My favorite memory was probably when we first got Steve and we planted him.
Yeah, me too. Steve's been a good guy to have around. The strong, silent type. So our story today is quite interesting, and it's toward the end of Luke's Gospel, and they can find the story where?
Luke chapter 18, verses 1 to 14.
Now, in that passage, there's actually two parables that Jesus tells, and we're going to focus just on the second one. The second one is a parable about two men that went up to pray, and these men were very, very different from one another. One man was a Pharisee, that's kind of like a religious leader, and the other was a tax collector, and not too many people liked the tax collectors. Well, both men went up to pray, and both men were very, very different. The Pharisee went up to pray, and the Pharisees sometimes thought they were just better than everyone else. They had more knowledge about the Bible. They had fancier words to use when they pray. They looked around this Pharisee and he said, "I'm glad I'm not like that guy over there or that person over there." They thought they had really special access to God, so they loved to pray in public using their fancy words and building themselves up and up in the eyes of all the people who are watching them. That's the Pharisee. But the other man in the story was the tax collector, and he didn't even want to come near to the temple or near to God. He stood quite a long way off, and he didn't even want to lift his eyes up to heaven. Instead, he just kind of beat on his chest and he said a very, very simple prayer: "God, just be merciful to me, a sinner." Well, what's the lesson here? The lesson is really found in one important verse, and Kira's going to read that verse for us.
This is Luke 18, verse 14. Jesus commented, "This tax man, not the other, went home made right with God. If you walk around with your nose in the air, you're going to end up flat in your face. But if you're content to be simply yourself, you will become more than yourself."
Yeah, the Pharisees, they walked around with their noses in the air, and when they came to prayer, the Pharisee didn't realize that because he was so proud in a wrong way that he was about to fall flat on his face. And Jesus says that left the tax collector justified before God. He was made just as if he had never sinned because he had the right attitude in approaching God. Well, I hope you read that story with your parents and go over it. Ask them what they learned from the lesson today, and then you can download the activity sheets. So thanks for joining us today. Thanks for journeying with us as we've gone through this time, and thanks again to Kira for being my sidekick. And so it's Pastor Scott and Kira and Steve saying, thanks for watching.